Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome to Super Breakfast Friends Club, the show where we lie about The Simpsons that one time, and the rest of the time we talk about cartoons based on video games.
Yeah, you've got 7 years of safety before the next April Fools, and then we strike again.
I'm Mike.
And I am not.
And should we just play a song? Let's play a song.
Do it.
Come with me to the Inkwell Isles. It's just off the coast, maybe 29 miles. Where there's good and there's bad, and then there's in between. With Cuphead and Mugman, you'll see what I mean. Ice cream and rockets, trouble never ends. But the steam don't dance, they make new friends. They'll need some help just to stay on track. Don't dance and go, you better watch your back. So if you're looking for fun,
Yes, we're looking for fun.
then there's a DVD.
We got the DVD.
Let's go! Welcome to the Cuphead Show! Welcome to the Cuphead Show!
It's Cuphead. I guess they say that in the song, right? I didn't need to announce it.
I think they do, yeah. That sounds like something they'd do.
What did you think of the theme song?
I enjoyed it.
I thought it was fine. Like, I wouldn't listen to it outside of the context of the show, but it set the show up pretty well.
I mean, there aren't, I would say, any cartoon theme songs that I would listen to recreationally.
Pokemon?
Okay, one cartoon theme song I would listen to recreationally.
There's a couple
So
for me.
That's not a deal breaker for me.
Okay. Yeah, it felt very era appropriate to the era they're trying to evoke here, which was cool.
Exactly.
And the animation in it was really nice too.
The animation in the whole thing is really nice.
It sure is. So, Cuphead, the game, or to go by its full title, Cuphead, Don't Deal with the Devil. It released in 2017 for Xbox One and Windows. It was made by Studio MDHR, which apparently is shorthand for Moldenhauer.
Okay.
Because the studio is founded by the Moldenhauer brothers, Chad and Jared Moldenhauer.
I have never in my life heard that name, and it's great.
It's a pretty good
10 out of
name.
10 last name.
Yeah, they're based in Canada. The studio only has 19 staff members. And the only game they've made so far is Cuphead, as far as I can tell.
And it's a hit.
And it's a hit. It's a huge hit. Chad and Jared Moldenhauer came up with the idea for the game themselves, inspired by the cartoons of the 20s and 30s. Especially ones by Fleischer Studios. They were the ones who made Betty Boop and Popeye and a lot of the old Superman cartoons. Cuphead's roots go back to them attempting to make a game in the year 2000, apparently. They kind of got tripped up because there was too much stuff that they couldn't do with the tools they had available. But after the success of Super Meat Boy in 2010, they were inspired to try again.
I love that Super Meat Boy is the rallying cry for this little studio that could.
Yeah, me too.
I love Super Meat Boy.
Meat Boy's fantastic. We spent so much time on that game.
Yeah, and I never beat it.
I don't remember if I did. I think I might have.
I was going for all those bandages.
Oh, I definitely didn't get all the bandages. So Cuphead is a run-and-gun game, noted for its high difficulty. I still haven't played it, but I own 2 copies.
2?
Yeah, I have it for Steam and on the Switch.
That's just ridiculous. I have played it a little bit, but it wasn't my copy, so when I didn't get to beat it, that was the end of that story.
Apparently, Cuphead, the character, was inspired by a 1936 Japanese war propaganda film.
What?
Yeah, I watched it. It's a film where Mickey Mouse attacks Japan with a fleet of Mickey Mouse-headed bats that drop bombs and stuff. And the cartoon animals of Japan beseech Momotaro to come and defeat Mickey Mouse.
That's incredible.
But somewhere in the film, there's a cup-headed character who's is one of the characters living in Japan. And apparently, while they were watching old cartoons for inspiration, they saw this cup-headed character and it just clicked with them. And that became the star of the game.
I love it.
So, the show first aired on Netflix on February 18th, 2022. So this might be the newest show we've covered. I can't remember if Shenmue is newer than this or not.
Nope, me neither.
This has 3 seasons with 36 episodes. Now you may be wondering, how is it possible that 3 seasons have been made in 1 year? Well, that's because Netflix seasons are weird. So as far as production is concerned, there's only been 1 season. Netflix ordered all of the episodes that currently exist in one batch.
Mm-hmm.
But then they split it into multiple release seasons.
Gotcha.
One reason for that is so that they can keep interest in the show going over a longer period of time. And another reason for it is that they can get around contract negotiations that would usually happen between seasons.
Oh, no. There it is. There's the stinker.
Yeah.
You knew it was coming.
Capitalism. So it was produced by Netflix Animation, who have done... I think they pretty much do all animation that appears on Netflix these days, starting with Klaus, the Christmas movie, but also Kid Cosmic, the Guillermo del Toro Pinocchio from last year, Inside Job, Dead End, Paranormal Park, which you would like, Mel.
That sounds like something I would like.
Yeah, I have the books. They're really good. It was also produced by King Features Entertainment. King Features are responsible for the original Popeye comics. So they're a pretty good fit for Cuphead if it was inspired by that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
They also were responsible for the Flash Gordon comics and the Phantom. They did a bunch of old cartoons, but it's kind of hard to find a list of exactly which cartoons they did. They did the original Yellow Submarine film.
Interesting.
Yeah, I had no idea. I didn't know they were involved in stuff outside of comics so far back. I knew them as the publishers of the Popeye comics from way back when, but I didn't know how many pies they had fingers in, I guess. The animation was done by Lighthouse Studios, who I've heard of because I know at least one person who works there. They also, I don't know a whole lot else of what Lighthouse Studios have done, but I know that they worked on Little Ellen, the show about Ellen as a child.
Okay.
And they worked on the Bob's Burgers movie, which is a much more impressive
Yes.
because the Bob's Burgers movie looks fantastic, and this show also looks fantastic. So
It sure does.
this show also has stop-motion animation by Screen Novelties, who were responsible for the first 5 seasons of Robot Chicken. They've done most stop-motion sequences that have ever appeared in SpongeBob. They did some for Courage the Cowardly Dog and Adventure Time. They did a little bit of stop-motion for the Invader Zim movie. They did some for Animaniacs. And they've done a ton of TV commercials for like McDonald's and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing them in the credits confirmed to me that the first thing we see in the episode is stop motion, because I thought it was. So the show opens with a shot of Elder Kettle's house, and it's a stop motion house that they've actually made.
Super cool.
I wasn't sure when I first saw it. I thought it was stop motion, but I wasn't sure if it was just a really detailed painting or if it was 3D work made to look like stop motion. But apparently it is genuine stop motion, so that's nice.
Stop motion doesn't get the love that it should.
No, it doesn't. And that's why I'm so glad that places like Leica exist, who are making really, really good stop motion movies. Like that, the Guillermo del Toro Pinocchio is gorgeous. It's like some of the best stop motion I've seen in years. I think Leica worked on it too.
I haven't seen it. I'll take your word for it.
It's worth watching. It was good. It was a good time. Del Toro is really going all out with animation now. I saw his Twitter account earlier, and he's changed his bio, and all it says is animation is cinema now. It's like when he won the Oscar for Pinocchio, he gave a whole speech about how the Academy should be treating animation more seriously. That it's not a children's genre. It's just a film medium, and
Good for him.
It's so refreshing to see a big name in Hollywood actually saying this stuff.
Yes. They don't listen to us little guys.
No. Some of them might. A lot of our listeners are in California. Right, Leo DiCaprio, I know you're listening.
We've sent you several emails. If you're not listening, you will be receiving several more.
I think DiCaprio's kind of a jerk.
I mean, yeah.
Anyway.
That's not what's on trial here today. What's on trial is Cuphead.
So this episode is called Carnival.
Get it?
And it's written by many people. So here we go. It's written by Deeky Deek, whose only other credit was for something called the Soccer Football Movie, and football is crossed out. So it's like the football movie, and then they crossed out football, and it's the soccer movie.
Oh, okay. It's that kind of football. I get it.
Yeah, it's on Netflix. I don't know if it's any good, but it's the only other thing this person's written that I could see. Then we have Clay Morrow, who wrote a lot for Camp Lazlo, Dexter's Lab, Powerpuff Girls, and the Paul Rudish Mickey Mouse shorts, which I love.
Yeah, those are all solid titles.
Yeah, I think he was a storyboarder on a lot of those things as well. Adam Paloyan, who was a writer and director on SpongeBob. Cosmo Sigurdsson, who worked on Camp Lazlo and the Rocko's Modern Life Netflix movie. And Dave Wasson, who is also the one who developed this show. He had the longest list of credits. He was an animator on Who Framed Roger Rabbit, The Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Space Jam. Like a million classic movies he's worked on.
Classic movies, and you list Space Jam.
We're Back, A Dinosaur Story. And he co-created Star vs. the Forces of Evil. You probably won't know what that is, Mel.
I've heard of it.
Okay.
I'm not that disconnected from the youth of today.
Well, I don't know. I never saw it. I just know that it was a show that came on around the time Gravity Falls was wrapping up.
I've been to the internet.
The Binternet.
No.
So the show opens at Elder Kettle's house, where Elder Kettle is making pancakes. He's been redesigned a little bit for this show, compared to how he looked in the game.
I'll take your word for it.
They've added glasses to him, they've made his color scheme a bit more blue, and he's generally kind of friendlier and happier looking. I prefer the way he looks in this over the game. He looks kind of drab in the game compared to this.
I don't remember what he looks like in the game.
He's similar, but he's like a bit droopier, and he's brown instead of grey. Instead of like a blue-grey, he's like a brown. So he tosses Cuphead and Mugman their pancakes. Cuphead catches all his, but Mugman misses, and they all hit the wall and slide onto the floor. And Cuphead cuts his plate of pancakes in half and gives the half to Mugman. But,
literally cuts his plate in half.
Yeah, the plate even as well. But then when he hands Mugman the syrup, Mugman finds that Cuphead has already used all of it.
That would be me. I like a lot of syrup.
I really like this as a character setup for these two characters, because it shows us that Cuphead cares enough about Mugman to share his pancakes, but he's still a little bit thoughtless. Elder Kettle is played by Johanna, who mostly had additional voices credits. But he played Ryder White in Dead Island, he played Eddie Scarpa in Mafia 2, and he played Fat Tony in The Darkness 2.
Oh, I never played the second one.
I wasn't sure if you had. I knew you played the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Cuphead is played by True Valentino, who plays Adam in Psychonauts 2. The only thing in his credits list that I was familiar with. He also plays Lou in Madagascar A Little Wild, which is apparently a TV show that I'd never heard of. Like, I know what Madagascar is, but I didn't know there was a TV show about, I guess it's like Madagascar babies?
Didn't they have a TV show that was just about the penguins?
Yes, they did. I know about that one.
What? How many spin-offs do they need from one series?
Well, it's DreamWorks, isn't it?
Yeah, you're right.
They're working on Shrek 5 right now.
Listen, the world needs Shrek 5. Don't talk shit about Shrek 5.
He also played Black Panther in Spidey and His Amazing Friends, which is a preschool Spider-Man show.
That's fun.
And he's had a few appearances in the new Beavis and Butthead show, apparently. And then we have Mugman, who is played by Frank Todaro, who has played Starscream in a bunch of Transformers things. He's the voices of Rayson, Grail, Sean, and Nelucci in Fire Emblem. I don't know who any of those are. I'm sorry.
You don't know the Fire's emblem?
I don't. I know Marth, and I know Roy, and I know Ike. And I know a couple of others.
Like Lucina?
I know Lucina, yeah. I think Tiki is the name of the dragon girl I know. I did briefly play the mobile game, but I don't remember.
I feel like I knew
well.
that and then immediately forgot.
It was pretty fun. I just didn't have the drive to keep going, you know?
Yeah, I know.
He also played Randolph in Rune Factory 5. Do you know that one?
The names escape me because I am horrible with names, but I'm going to look it up because
Okay.
this is going to bother me. Oh, yep, I know him. He's the old baker man.
Oh. Well, he's Mugman.
Oh, cool. I like both of those roles.
Yeah, Mugman was good. I liked Mugman.
I mean, everybody in this show was good.
I was going to say, yeah, they were all good in this, but I think Mugman stood out as my favorite character.
I liked the devil.
Oh, we'll get to the devil. So Elder Kettle sends Cuphead and Mugman out to paint the fence. And Cuphead tries to speed things along by putting the paint into a cannon and firing it. And the comedic timing on Elder Kettle coming home just as the cannon fires.
Hey, boys, how's that?
And blasts the whole fence to pieces.
It was really funny. That got a big laugh out of me.
There were many, many times in this show that I laughed out loud.
Yeah, same. And knowing that a couple of the people who worked on it also worked on the Paul Rudish Mickey Mouse shorts, that made a lot of sense because those get a lot of laugh out loud moments from me as well. As they go to buy paint, Cuphead spots a carnival and they end up going there instead.
I just loved that before Mugman even finishes the sentence, we're not going to the carnival. They're already on a roller coaster.
Yeah.
There's no way we're going.
Again, that was really good timing. It was really funny. Though,
The show is full of incredible timing.
you know, the one joke in this episode that I did not like was right before that, where Cuphead says something that's nonsense, and then Mugman says, "What does that even mean?"
Cuphead, I'm not so sure.
You know what I do when I'm not so sure? I double down.
What does that even mean?
I didn't like that joke because that's how I used to write when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
Where you just have a character say some nonsense, and then you have another character say, "What does that even mean?" And it's like, not a joke, you know? But that's just
Full
me.
stop. It's just not a joke.
It's just because I used to write a lot of jokes like that and I got tired of it.
Yeah. I understand.
I don't think it's necessarily a bad joke, it's just a peeve of mine.
It's just not the same quality as the rest of the writing.
Yeah, the rest of the writing is very good. Cuphead gets distracted by a game called Soul Ball. He keeps winning at it and draws a crowd.
Meanwhile, at the soul ball next door.
Yeah, Mugman sees a phone person. Because the thing is, Cuphead is winning constantly. He hasn't lost a single one. But this telephone person loses his throw, and his soul gets sucked out into the game. And then Mugman looks around and notices how many people are just desaturated and standing around doing nothing.
And he connects that it's called Soul Ball.
Yeah, and then he looks up at the sign above the carnival and realizes that it's actually called
Carnival. Con evil.
I laughed out loud at that. Just the timing.
Like, we already get it. We've got it for a while by this point. But then that one last hammering it home too much really got me.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, down below the carnival,
Beelzebub.
the devil is watching all the souls get piped in through the games.
And singing a song.
The devil is played by Luke Millington Drake, who didn't have a whole lot of credits. He's appeared in one episode of Family Guy and one episode of That 90s Show, and 2 episodes of the Hulu show Reboot, but never as major characters from what I could tell. But he is fantastic in this.
Yes, he was incredible.
The devil's song is really good.
Whoa, in case you ain't heard, I'm the devil. I'm a real low down, not on the level. They call me Old Scratch, Mr. S, the Big D. I'm the king of the underworld, yeah, it's great to be me.
I thoroughly enjoyed it.
The lyrics were fun. They were clever. It was very well performed.
Yep, very catchy. Yeah, the performance on this devil character is just constantly phenomenal. This song goes on for quite a long time, but it didn't bother me at all.
No, especially because it ended incredibly.
It did. It ends with a henchman interrupting.
And he gets mad because he's been singing.
Yeah.
Hey, boss. Boss. Hey, boss.
What? I was singing!
The henchman interrupts the devil to tell him that the soul count has stopped. This henchman, I wondered if the henchman was from the game. He is. This is an enemy type that appears during the final boss, known only as Fat Demon in the game.
Cool.
But it's called Henchman in the show. He's played by Dave Wasson, the writer.
Good.
I like it when writers just voice a character.
I like it when writers voice like smaller roles. Don't write yourself as the main character, but be a fat demon.
Well, I've got mixed things, because on the one hand, there are some cases where, I think it gets a bit much in Family Guy, where you've got Seth MacFarlane playing half the family.
Right.
But Alex Hirsch as Grunkle Stan.
That's true. And Mike Judge is Hank Hill.
Yeah, I wouldn't trade those for anyone. They're great. Mike Judge is Hank Hill. I always forget that he plays him.
I'm gonna have to eat my own words, because you're correct. Some people are very good at it. But
what it is when they give themselves too many characters to play.
Yeah.
When the creator of the show is voicing half the cast, like in Family Guy, it gets a bit jarring, I think.
It's like, we get it. You love the sound of your own voice.
I think he plays half the cast in American Dad, too.
Of course he does.
And then, you've got Rick and Morty with Justin Roiland playing basically everyone. And apparently doing nothing else. Except making an uncomfortable work environment for everybody.
Wah wah.
Bye, Justin Roiland.
See you in hell.
So the reason the soul count has stopped is because nobody is playing the games up above anymore. Because everyone has stopped to watch Cuphead win over and over. So the devil shows up to confront him about it.
I just love that everybody immediately knows it's the devil.
Yeah, of course.
Of course it makes sense, but I don't know. I feel like if something like that happened in real life, I'd be like, who's this guy?
I think it depends on how much the devil wants you to know it's him. I think here the devil wanted everyone to know. So everyone knew.
That's true. We do know that he's a shapeshifter because he is many things.
Yeah, I wondered if those were different phases of the boss fight, because I know a lot of the boss fights in Cuphead involve the character you're fighting transforming into planes and stuff.
It's a good question. I wish I got far enough to answer.
Well, I looked it up, And it seems like the only change that happens to the devil's form in the game is that he gets bigger. So,
Oh.
so I guess all these, because he becomes like a spider, he becomes a cool dragon.
Yeah.
I guess it's all just for the show.
Good for him.
Good for him. He's branching out.
One of these days we have to play Cuphead together.
I'd love to. You want to do it soon? I'm down to do it soon.
I just need to own it first.
We'll get you a copy. Well, let's look out for it on sale.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure that Cuphead only ever loses the game because Mugman kind of like pushes him while he's throwing it.
He's trying to get his attention because the devil has just showed up.
Yeah. And then because of that, he loses a game finally, and his soul gets sucked.
But Mugman saves it.
Yeah, Mugman grabs it, crams it back in his body, and they make a break for it. This again was a very long chase sequence where
I enjoyed it though.
Well, here's the thing, right? Nothing of substance happens in this chase sequence, but I never got tired of it.
No, I had a great time with it.
It was really good. Just like constant, really good, fun visual gags.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved it. It was great. They run past one of those cardboard cutout things where you stick your head over and you take a picture.
Yep.
And they stop. And I thought they were hiding from the devil, but they really did just stop to take a picture and then kept running. And it was great. I thought it was really funny.
Me too.
What was your favorite part of the chase?
That's a great question. Probably when the horse got transformed into a scary horse.
That was so
I like
cool.
the horse.
Yeah, the skeleton horse was really cool.
Uh-huh.
You know, I didn't think about it at the time, but now that I am thinking about it, just the idea that they jumped on a carousel trying to run away is really funny.
Right.
It goes in circles.
It's called comedy, friends.
I liked when they came out of the... Was it a slide? It was like a tube.
Like, it started off as a tunnel, and then it became a tube.
Yeah, and when they come out of it, it's like a mouth, and it just kind of goes...
Some of that real old-timey cartoon logic.
Yeah. Well, that's when I was reading about the making of the game. They were talking about how a lot of their inspiration was the absurdity and the abstract nature of old Fleischer cartoons. So
And they captured it really well.
they did, yeah.
This cartoon is my favorite kind of old-timey stupid.
Yes. I think what I loved about the look of this show is that it really combines the look of the 30s cartoons with the look of modern cartoons. It's like a perfect synergy of the two.
As well as the humor of both.
Yes. So Mugman stops Cuphead and says they need to pretend to be cornered. And he tricks the devil into blasting the carnival game, freeing all the souls for some reason.
Yay! I was really hoping that it was going to count as the devil losing, and so he lost his own soul. But
would've
this
been
was
funny.
also funny.
It was funny, yeah. It's funny that, like, we saw that there were two of those games.
Yes.
But destroying just one of them solved everything. But it doesn't matter. They're just looking for a way to end it at this point, clearly.
Yeah, they've set up that Cuphead now owes the devil his soul.
Yes, the Carnival has been destroyed. The whole place burns down and collapses. Cuphead and Mugman escape. And when the henchman points out that they've escaped, the devil says,
He didn't escape! He played the game, he lost. His soul belongs to me. I'll get that cup.
Dun dun dun.
Back at Elder Kettle's house, Cuphead is preparing to make the exact same mistake he made at the beginning of the episode.
Well, see, the first time he added too much gunpowder, but this time it's definitely going to work.
I love that it just plays out identically.
Yep.
That really
Doesn't
made me
change
laugh.
in the least.
Right down to Elder Kettle coming home at exactly that moment.
I ain't too worried about it.
Hey, boys!
But through the whole scene, Mugman is just stressing about the fact that Cuphead owes the devil his soul.
Yep.
And that's the end. That's how it ends.
I had a great time watching it.
I did too. I loved this.
I would love to finish this series.
Well, there are 36 episodes.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure we won't cover all of them for the show, but we'll come back and look at some others.
But I can watch it with my own two human eyes in my free time.
You can. I won't stop you. I'll probably
You
watch some
can.
of it too. I could easily stop you if I wanted to. Just have to keep distracting you with other things. So yeah, in case it wasn't clear throughout the episode, I loved this. It was fun.
Me
Thought it was great. I looked into how it was received. Apparently, a lot of Cuphead fans were disappointed because it differs from the story of the games.
I don't care. It's fun in its own right.
The thing is, I don't think it differed that much. I was expecting it to be more different when I read that criticism of it.
The thing is, because it's already based off of like a very specific thing, a very specific point in time and the cartoons of that era, I don't really care what the story is because it exists kind of in a liminal space, you know?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean, and I agree with you. For anyone who doesn't know, the story of the game is that Cuphead loses his soul in the devil's casino, and then the devil makes a deal with him that he'll let him keep his soul if Cuphead travels around the Inkwell Isles and retrieves the souls of everyone else who owes their soul to the devil. And I think that's a great plot for a game, but I don't think it would work so well for this style of show that they're trying to
That's
make
exactly what I was going to say. That sounds more like some kind of action-y Lord of the Rings quest kind of thing.
Yeah. And for a game where you're actually going on a quest, that makes sense. But this is clearly set up to be more of a episodic comedy series.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this setup works better. And I also think that the change from it being a casino to being a carnival makes a lot more sense with this being aimed at a younger audience than the games are.
Yeah, agreed.
When someone makes an adaptation of something, why would you want it to be the same story again?
I know. I don't know. Some people fail to understand that different mediums are good at doing different things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think back to Sonic X, right? For anyone who doesn't know, I'm something of a Sonic fan. With Sonic X, I really enjoyed the show in the beginning when it was doing its own thing. But then like 30 odd episodes in, Sonic X starts adapting the Sonic Adventure games. And that's the point where I switch off. Like even at the time, I got to the Sonic Adventure adaptation and I was like, oh, it's just Sonic Adventure but less. You know?
Yeah.
Because they have to cut stuff out to make it fit the format of a TV show.
Yes.
And you don't get to explore it at your own pace because it's no longer interactive. So when someone takes a video game and adapts it for television, I feel like you're almost always losing something. That's why... Yeah. I mean, we felt the same way about the Phoenix Wright show, remember?
Yes, we did.
And the Shenmue show. Those both adapted the game straight, and it was a disappointment both times.
Yeah, you gotta do something new with it.
Yeah.
It's never going to be as good as the original game, so you have to find a way to make it interesting.
I always think, for me, the perfect thing for a video game show to do is to either make it fully an alternate universe take, where they actually like change stuff up significantly,
mm-hmm.
or to make it a completely new story set within the universe of the games.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I wish Phoenix Wright was. I wish the Phoenix Wright show was just new cases with familiar characters.
Yeah, there's a lot of downtime between those cases. He could be doing other cases.
Yeah, that I would have loved it if that's what the Ace Attorney show did. But that's not what we got. And
what if the Ace Attorney show was all about the years between Phoenix losing his attorney's badge and getting it again? So it's just him playing piano in the Borscht Bowl.
I'd be down. That'd be more interesting than just showing us cases we've already seen.
He could still solve crimes, but just as a grizzled, homeless-looking man.
As it is, I think the Ace Attorney show only makes sense as a way of catching up people who missed the trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you wanted to just jump in at Apollo Justice, then sure, watch the Ace Attorney show first. But otherwise, like, I don't get it, personally.
No, play the games. It's way better.
Yeah, that's why I'm sure I talked about it when we watched Ace Attorney for the podcast. But when it came out, I watched the first episode and then I just didn't watch anymore. And I bought the trilogy on 3DS instead because I was just like, I would rather just play it.
Yeah. I tried really hard to watch it, but I couldn't keep up with it. I wasn't interested enough.
I'm trying to think, like, there are things that do what we're asking for, right? Sonic Prime does it, I think. I think the Professor Layton anime movie is a unique story set within the canon of Professor Layton. I think a lot of the Halo things do it. Oh, didn't Danganronpa do a show that was like set between two of the games?
Yeah. Danganronpa. What was it? I think it was just called like Danganronpa 3 before Danganronpa the third game came out. It was very confusing, but yeah, it took place before the second game and then after the second game.
Okay. So that's the kind of stuff I want more of.
Yeah.
Either that or do like what Sonic Boom did, where it's just a markedly different take on the characters.
And that's why this was a good show.
Yeah. I feel like this was somewhere in between the two because... No, I guess it is just a different take. Like, they're recognizable as the characters from the game, but it is an alternate telling of the story. It's been rearranged to make more sense as a show. But I guess people will always be upset when something is changed.
Yeah, I expect that of the internet.
There's no legacy of this because it literally came out a year ago.
There could be a legacy in a year. You don't know.
We'll see. If they make a Cuphead 2, we'll see if this has the new Elder Kettle design in it. I kind of hope that they adapt the Elder Kettle design from the show into the next game because I prefer the show's look.
Yeah, I guess. They're pretty similar, but...
He's more brown in the game.
Yeah.
He looks less like a wise old man and more like a homeless man, in my opinion.
Listen, don't be talking down to homeless-looking men because Phoenix Wright is going to be solving all kinds of crimes in the show I'm writing.
Well, he's like hot young homeless.
That's true.
There's a difference. There's a difference between hot young homeless and elderly homeless.
And wizened elder hobo.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks for joining us, everyone.
On this slap-happy episode of Super Breakfast Friends Club.
Watch the Cuphead show.
It's a fun time.
It was fun. I liked it. If you'd like to support our shenanigans, you can find us at patreon.com/superbreakfastfriendsclub or coffee.com/superbreakfastfriendsclub. Kick some money in our faces like sand.
Sand attack and lower our accuracy. If you're watching it on YouTube, you could like and subscribe. And maybe leave us a comment and tell us about all the sand you're going to kick in our eyes.
Do it! Tell us why you like this show. Tell us why you don't like this show.
Just please talk to us. The silence is killing me.
You can find me on Twitch at SkullPirateMike or on Twitter at SkullPirateMike. And you can find the show on Twitter at SBreakfastFC, where you can get updates on what the heck is going on.
And look at the dumb pictures that I draw when I should be paying attention to the conversation.
That's true. Every episode we have some silly doodles that Mel did during recording.
Don't say every. Sometimes I don't feel like it.
Most times. It really depends on how attached Mel is to the characters in the show.
Yeah, I didn't do anything for F-Zero. It's like, what am I even gonna?
But we got a lot of Star Fox.
Yeah, we do.
And we usually get the most whenever we look at a Pokemon episode.
I don't know why. I don't even know what a Pokemon is. Don't look at the Cuphead picture.
Bye. Do you like the Cuphead?
No, I hate.
You hate the Cuphead?
I hate it. It's dumb.
Oh no. I like.